Hello again, welcome back to another episode of Travel Talk. Today is episode number 32 and we're still in LA. Today's episode will cover hiking up into the Hollywood Hills, getting some great pictures and some great views of LA, the Hollywood sign, and yeah, that's pretty much the entire day. It takes quite a while to get up there, and it's just kind of recapping how I got up there and the amazing views I saw, which you'll see obviously at the end of the video and photos. But yeah, we'll get straight into it. So the actual hike itself, it takes you 800 feet above the ground level. So you got a really stunning view, obviously. So knowing that, I obviously didn't wear correct shoes. I wore like boat shoes, like shoes you'd wear to go out, because I didn't actually have any like boots or trainers at the time. So when I got up at 8 o'clock that morning, I had my shower, sat in the room for half an hour deciding what shoes I should wear, which obviously didn't end well. And yeah, put them on and headed out about 9 o'clock. Most of the people in the hostel don't actually get up until about half 10, 11 o'clock, which is a shame because in my eyes, you're in LA, you're not ever going to be in LA again. Well, people will, obviously, but a lot of people only go there once in a lifetime, so I feel like you've got to make the most of it while you're there. And that was the same with every place that I went to in America and Australia, obviously. You've got to make the most of your opportunity and you've got to make the most of what you've got. So, yeah, headed out about 9 o'clock, headed down towards Hollywood Boulevard, which, like I say, is about a 15-minute walk from our hostel. Stopped off at the same Hooters restaurant that we went to on the first full day to have some kind of brunch, because we didn't have breakfast at the hostel because it was a little bit too early for that. Like I say, people don't actually seem to get up until like 10:30, so it's strange. But yeah, had our brunch in there. I think we had the burger and something. Like I said before, I think the Hooters menu is really cheap, really good food, good scenery in the restaurants, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we did that. Headed out of there at about probably 11 o'clock, probably half 11 sort of time. Made the 15-minute walk up to Runyon Park, which is where the start of the Hills Trail starts. And that's just off the boulevard. You kind of walk up one big road and you come to it. It's not difficult to get to. It's pretty well signposted. So yeah, we got to the park. You walk in and you know it's going to be big. But you just kind of get a feeling when you walk in, you look up and you see how big it really is, and you think to yourself, wow, I'm going to walk up that. But yeah, it's a little bit ominous at the beginning, but you know it's well worth doing, definitely. So you start off on ground level. You walk probably about, I don't know, 500 feet or so, and then obviously the incline begins. And yeah, it's a steady incline at first. You know, you kind of gradually going up little hills and everything, kind of dirt ramps as such. And up until about 250 feet, I'd say it's pretty steady, the incline, so it's pretty easy to get up for anyone of any level, really. It's once you get to 250 feet, that's when it starts to get a little bit difficult. Basically, at 250 feet, what they've done is, because the incline gets higher quite quickly, is they've made some man-made steps, but they've made them out of kind of railroad tracks, and it's just the gap in between each step is probably about 3 feet height-wise, so you're kind of stepping up that sort of range each time. So you kind of have to be taller / physically fit enough to get up that part of the hills, I suppose, in order to continue the journey. The person I was travelling with couldn't, so at 250 feet she went back to the hostel and I kept going because I wasn't going to be stopped. You know, you've got to keep going with these things. You can't pussy out, you know. So, yeah, I kept going. About 400 feet, I stopped and took some photos of some Japanese tourists who seemed very confused and didn't seem to know where they were, really. So I took some photos for them. They thanked me, and one of them shook my hand about 14 times, so that was good. Made my way up to about 600 feet. Knew I was making some progress. By now I'd crossed from the east side, which is where you initially go, and I'd crossed all the way over to the west side, which gave you the best views of the Hollywood sign, and which was good. Obviously took lots of photos of that. Unfortunately at the time my phone was my camera, and my camera on my phone wasn't great, so I didn't get the best photos in the world, but I still got some really decent ones. In my eyes anyway, for that phone. So yeah, I kept going, persevering. By now it started to cloud over a bit. It'd been sunny when we first started, but now that I'd reached 700 feet, it started to cloud over. It looked like it might rain. I was hoping it wouldn't, because when we first got to LA, all anyone told us was there's only one season in LA, and that's sunshine. So I was like, okay, please don't rain. I'm at the top of a hill. But yeah, I got up to 800 feet, which is the top basically. And yeah, the view's incredible. You just can't, it's indescribable to look out onto LA and, you know, truly just gaze upon this landscape that goes for miles. And you can, on a clear day, you could have seen it amazingly further, but unfortunately, like I say, it started to cloud over when I was there. So you were kind of looking, you could probably see for about 5 or 6 miles still, but yeah, it was an incredible view. And yeah, it's one of those things you don't forget. You know, I can think back to that like it was yesterday, and it's clear as day still. And obviously took lots of photos of that, which, you know, you kind of have to do. And yeah, the top was just I probably sat at the top for about half an hour, in all honesty, just, you know, taking photos and letting it sink in that I was there, and, you know, the Hollywood sign was there, and LA was in front of me, and it was just, yeah, it was an incredible feeling to just be there, really. And yeah, like I say, sat up there for about half an hour, made my way back down after that. Took about half an hour to get back down. You go back down a very, very steep dirt hill, basically, and by now it had actually started raining, and which made a dirt hill turn into a mud hill. And like I say, I wasn't wearing the right shoes, which is kind of a safety thing. You should wear the right shoes, because I was slipping and sliding. I'll be honest, if you fell off of this hill and fell, you would probably fall about 100 feet or so without being able to stop yourself, because either side of the trail itself, it was kind of, the trail was, I don't know, a foot's width to get down, but then one side you had a steep incline just going down to the left, and one side you had a steep incline going down to the right. So I think if you'd have fallen off, you'd been pretty screwed, to be fair. So if I'd have fallen off, I'd have been really screwed. Especially because I had no health insurance at the time, because obviously the AA didn't want to insure me because, you know, So yeah, made my way back down within about half an hour. The rain had by now really started to hammer it down. It was getting quite heavy. I was only wearing a hoodie because it's LA, you don't expect it to rain. You don't have to think to yourself, I might take an umbrella with me today. So unfortunately got a bit wet, but these things happen, you know, you deal with them. Yeah, headed back down onto Hollywood Boulevard, went in a CVS, which is kind of a supermarket chain out there. Went to get some toothpaste because I ran out, and some Budweiser, because, you know, what goes better with toothpaste than Budweiser, you know? What am I having tonight? Oh yes, Budweiser toothpaste. Lovely. So yeah, I grabbed that, and then I thought it would be a good idea to walk back to the hostel, because I know it was raining heavy, but I didn't expect it to last long. Boy, was I wrong. Because as I got about halfway back, it rained probably about triple as heavy, and I was totally and utterly soaked, which is never a good look when you're in LA, but, you know, I was rocking it, obviously. So yeah, I was got back to the hostel pretty soaked. But I enjoyed the experience. I'd enjoyed going up the hills. I'd enjoyed getting all the photos, just, you know, letting it sink in that I was there. And yeah, it was a really enjoyable experience. But yeah, getting wet, I could have done without getting wet, but other than that, it was really enjoyable. So yeah, got back to the hostel, got changed, went out for some Thai food for dinner again, to the same restaurant as the previous night, because it was very good, very cheap, very large amounts of food. And then had some Budweisers when I got back to the hostel, and just had an early night after that, because obviously I'd done a lot of walking. I just wanted a little bit of a rest, to be fair. So it was just, you know, it's fair. I need a rest every once in a while, don't I? And that was pretty much that day. And yeah, it was a really good day. I think that probably, as days in LA go, was probably my favourite, just because it was kind of me just exploring LA and like the hills, and just being able to, you know, be alone and take photos and just do what I wanted to do, which, when you're travelling with someone, isn't always necessarily the case, because you obviously have to agree with the person, or in my case, be told what to do, because she was a little bit overbearing. But yeah, you just have to, you enjoy the moments when you're alone sometimes, because you can really just think and you can do what you want, and that's the most important thing. You've got to make sure that you enjoy the experience. I mean, I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I know she was an overbearing idiot half the time, but I still enjoyed the experience. So yeah, that was that day. Tomorrow, plan to go to Santa Monica Beach, which is obviously one of the famous beaches here in LA. The weather's supposed to be great, so not raining, obviously. So I will catch you next episode for Santa Monica Beach. I'll put some photos at the end of this episode of the wonderful view of LA, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.